like and subscribe. I really don't even know where to begin with this nonsense. Some guy, I can't think of the site, said that was saying, ha ha ha, women want equal rights. So when World War III comes, they're going to have to be drafted with men. There will be no World War III. First of all, what war are you talking about? Are you talking about, is this person talking about supporting genocide that's going on in Israel? That's genocide. That's not a war. And the United States has no business being involved in that. South Africa has filed a lawsuit in the International Court of Justice against Israel and everyone that is enabling Israel to commit genocide in Palestine. Understand this, and this has been going on for 75 years. What we are calling Israel is actually Palestine. And those Israelis, the United States and the UK, put those Israelis there, and they just like America took over, just like Caucasians took America from Native Americans. The same thing is going on in Israel, taking over Palestine from the Palestinians. It is illegal and it is genocide, and it's going to the International Court of Justice where it will be decided. This is not World War III. Secondly, NATO, France, Germany, Spain, and other NATO countries are not participating in this. The only thing they're doing is sending advisors, 2 or 3 advisors. They're not sending in their military. They're not sending in men and women to fight. They're not sending in ships, battleships. They're not sending in airplanes. They're not participating, and they said they would not participate. And the United States coalition is just like the coalition that George Bush Jr. had when we attacked Iraq. A bunch of little countries, and nobody even knows who they are. Countries unheard of. When the United States says we have 20 nations, they never say who those nations are. Those nations are nobodies. Those nations may not even have a military. And like I said, the only people that are supporting Israel is the United States and maybe the United Kingdom. Maybe the United Kingdom. Now, let's understand something. First of all, we can't win. We can't win it. Ukrainians, that war should have been over months and months ago, because the only thing that's happened over there is that Ukrainian men are being slaughtered. They're being slaughtered. Over 500,000 of those men over there have lost their lives. Israel is being defeated. The only thing Israel is doing, Israel have murdered 20,000 citizens. 20,000 citizens. Innocent civilians is who they're killing. On the other hand, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis have been killing Israeli soldiers. They've been wiping them out. And they've been wiping out in America with all our so-called sophisticated, our so-called sophisticated army, or whatever you want to call it, those tanks, those, what, $1 billion tanks are being destroyed by $10,000 and $20,000 handheld rocket launchers and handheld guided rocket launchers and drones. Handheld rocket launchers and drones. The United States can't even afford this war is not cost effective. It is not cost effective. Anytime you can launch 100 drones at a cost of about no more than $20,000 a piece on a high estimate, which is $2 million. Anytime you can launch 100 drones at a cost of $2 million at an aircraft carrier that costs close to $1 trillion, your war is not cost effective. Plus, you have all those men, 1,000 men, contained and confined in a small space, and they won't even be shooting at other men. They'll be shooting at drones. Then a drone costs about $20,000. But guess what? A missile to take that drone out costs about $10 million. So you got a $10 million missile trying to take out a $20,000 drone. That don't even make sense. It's not cost effective, and we would just run out of money. Not only that, the United States buys uranium from who? Russia. We buy uranium from Russia. Now we're supposed to fight who? Russia? So you think Russians are going to continue to sell the United States uranium to make missiles to kill them? That's not going to happen. The war is not cost effective. And the only thing that can happen is that if American men and women are stupid enough to be drafted, is that they're going to die. They're going to die. That's it. The Houthis control the Red Sea. They control that. Yes, we took out 3, and they weren't even battleships. The Houthis aren't even using battleships. So the United States took out 3 Houthi ships, and they weren't expensive ships. And they took out 10 men, and they lost 10 men in that. But then the Houthis responded. They responded and did damage, but that's not going to be reported back here because propaganda. And another thing, what about Israel? They're supposed to be our big buddy, right? Well, they sunk the USS Liberty. Israel sunk an American naval vessel that was unarmed and well marked. And this government did nothing. Now, let's get to the meat of the fact. This government made campaign finance legal bribery. This government gives, before the war, Israel had a $2.6 billion surplus, and we were giving Israel $3.9 billion every year. And they were using that money to lobby our Congress. They were using the money we were giving them to lobby our Congress. Now, why does Israel have so much power in the United States? And now Israel is using that power against the American people, saying, don't tell the truth about the genocide that's going on. Don't tell the truth about the genocide. If you tell the truth about the genocide, you go to jail. Or if you tell the truth about the genocide, they will mess up your life. And they're not even Jews. They're not Jews. They're Khazars from the Ukraine. Everybody knows it. They are Khazars from the Ukraine, so they have no business in Israel and Palestine in the first place. The whole thing is a lie. The Supreme Court said that the draft was unconstitutional. So how can it come back? There is no World War III because NATO is not going to be, has already said they're not going to be involved. So there is no World War III. It'll only be the United States and maybe the United Kingdom if they don't decide to back out. You see, the problem is this. The United States trying to set itself up as the police force of the world. But we were never policing the world. The only thing we were doing was colonizing and exploiting countries. Then in Africa, they are kicking out the United Nations peacekeeping force. They're kicking them out because they were causing the dissension. They were working with the so-called rebels. They were funded by the rebels. The United States was funding the rebels. And they found that out in Mali and in Niger when they started kicking the United Nations out. You see, the United Nations is in the United States, and the United States bullies the United Nations the same way the United States has been bullying other countries. The fact of the matter is, the United States is a paper tiger. 280 bases spread all over the world with about 1,000 or 1,500 men, sitting ducks. You don't go into a full-scale war spread all over the place. Those men and those bases are sitting ducks and can be attacked any kind of way. And they're not in this country. If we're going to go into World War III and this country is going to be attacked, then what we need to do is bring all our military people home. You bring them home and then you defend the United States, because this is not 1940s. This is not like in World War II. You didn't have drones in World War II. You didn't have GPS guided missiles in World War II. They can see 3,000 miles away. They can be here in minutes. 3,000 miles. When you can go to the moon, you can come here easy. If the United States were to get into, first of all, the United States could not defeat North Korea in a war. The United States could not defeat North Korea in a war. Their military is, see, you can have all the weapons you want, but at the end of the day, it comes down to people. And United States, North Korea has a trained military. You can't train a person in 6 months to go out and fight a war. It takes years. It takes a couple of years to become battle hardened and able to fight a war. And see, Israel, the only thing Israel was good at doing was messing with Palestinians, bullying Palestinians. All they did was bully Palestinians who couldn't bully Palestinian citizens. They couldn't fight back. They were bombing who? Palestinian citizens that could not fight back. But now when they have to fight Hamas, the Houthis, and Hezbollah, they're getting their butts whooped. They're getting their butts whooped. Ukraine has lost that war. Ukrainian men, the young men, I don't even know they even have any more young men in the Ukraine, because now they got older guys fighting. They got some guys fighting now in their 50s. doesn't even make sense. And it definitely doesn't make sense for the United States to support genocide, the genocide that's going on in Israel. Now, if Israel, what they should do this, all the Jews in America go to Israel. All the Jews in America calling themselves Jews and God's chosen people, go to Israel. You go to Israel and then you fight for the genocide. You do it. But this time, this game is over. This game is over with. And if the United States tries to draft people, there will be an internal war in this country. And people will try to you see, what Trump did was those weren't intelligent people. MAGA Republicans aren't intelligent. Now you're gonna be you try to draft people, this government, which isn't smart, is going to have to deal with intelligent people. And at the end of the day, the intelligent people will win. Like and subscribe. Talk to you later. But this is just to address this some knucklehead talking about people being drafted and when World War III started. There won't be no World War III. All the United States has to do is stop supporting Israel, and we're out of it. Leave Israel alone, stop supporting the genocide that's going on in Israel, and there will be no World War III because Israel can't afford to fight a World War III. Like and subscribe. Talk to you later.